Right then, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship. We're here for round number 3 of the 2021 Porsche Super Cup Championship here at Circuit Paul Ricard in Le Castellet, France. Yes, we're finally back after a week's hiatus. Since it's the summer break, going forward for these next 1.5 months, we'll be running things a bit more inconsistently. But yeah, we'll try our best to provide you with ACOC action in these months. But yeah, we're here for 20 minutes of qualifying here around this track in southern France. My name is Mian in the commentary booth, and joining me is none other than my trusty co-commentator, Giuseppe. A good evening.
Good evening, Mian. Very nice to be a Paul car. Actually, we all know that's the labyrinth, but that's kind of a challenge to the drivers as well, I'd say, knowing where to go. But of course, Paul Ricard, as you said, in the south of France, pretty nice circuit in my opinion. Haven't actually seen it in a while, just personally, like from my door. But it's nice to be me personally back on it again.
Yeah, this track has been a staple of the ACOC, really. We've come here with so many different series all the way since 2017, but just as we're getting qualifying underway, then it is time to go through the track. So the circuit Paul Ricard, located in the municipality of Le Castellet, or the commune I should say, of Le Castellet, near the city of Marseille in France. The track was first opened in 1970, and at the time was one of the safest motor racing circuits in the world. It featured a bunch of different track layouts, a very large industrial park, and even an airstrip. So it was quite popular for not only racing but also car testing back in the 70s. The name of the track comes from a French business magnate named Paul Ricard, who was a manufacturer of spirits in France, and yeah, the track originally saw Formula 1 action, I think somewhere around 1971 saw the first ever French Grand Prix at this track, and it ran here all the way until 1990. Then it was taken off the F1 calendar due to it ironically being a bit unsafe. But after a few renovations and a lot of years where it only saw national racing action, it was back on the Formula 1 calendar in 2018 and ran there all the way up until 2022. You've also had a lot of different racing series, as I did say, national series mostly, and a few continental as well. Today, you have the European Le Mans Series, 4 hours at Castellet around here. You have the GT World Challenge Europe, International GT Open, TCR Europe, mostly touring car series around here. Formula used to also have the French Motorcycle Grand Prix here as well. So, yeah, this track nowadays not mostly seen for international action and mostly just continental and national racing, but yeah, we're now here with Porsche Super Cup, and I believe Porsche Super Cup hasn't actually come here in real life, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this layout though, which is the GT layout, this is the current layout with the Mistral chicane, also known as the 1AV2 layout, is 5.7 kilometers long and features 13 turns, and race lap record should be somewhere around the high 1 minute to the low 2 minute mark, I would say. But yeah, this track, obviously with the fact that it's built on an airstrip, makes it quite flat and doesn't obviously have a lot of elevation, but it does have a lot of different layouts. I think that's what does make it special, and we have run a lot of layouts here as well over the years. But yeah, it is a very, very interesting track and has been quite a thriller when it comes to the ACOC. But I'm gonna stop talking about this track now, and we're gonna go down to the action then. And at the moment, it is Jates Terzic on provisional pole from Ludwig Stefansson in second, and then Suleiman Sariev in third. So an interesting top three. I believe all those three guys haven't actually scored points in these first two races. But I'll have to say then, the championship in these first two races, I don't even know if you can call it a championship because it's only been 2 rounds, but it is looking quite close at the top at the moment. Sergei Kazakov, after his win at Barcelona, sits 1 point ahead of Giuseppe Stella in second and 5 points clear of Bentley Schaefer in third. So in these opening rounds of the season, Giuseppe, I have to say it is looking quite close.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make a guess, of course, because we've only had, 2 races. But then again, I've only had 2 races, and nearly all of the grid has scored points. So that's not a bad start, I'd say. Only about 4 drivers haven't scored points, but take into account, it's 27, so it's quite a lot. So I'd say we're off to a pretty good start in terms of the quality being there. It's pretty close. So I wouldn't count anyone out just yet. Even the guy sitting in dead last might even make a comeback and win at this point. But I'm just to mention, nearly all the drivers have scored points, so you can see the quality is certainly there.
Yeah, for a 27 car field, I have to say 23 of the drivers scoring points in the first 2 races. I'm tripping over myself here. Apologies, it's quite late where we live, and I've had a busy day, so I might just stumble over my words a lot. But enough about me. It's Porsche Super Cup we're focusing on here, and Bentley Schaefer currently sits in 9th then. So he is in the points. Giuseppe Stella is down in 22nd at the moment. Same with Sergei Kazakov, or I'm not sure where Sergei Kazakov is. I think he is P23. Yeah, he's P23, just 1 position behind Stella at the moment. So championship rivals close together, but probably not in the position they'd be hoping for.
Yeah, in comparison to that, Bentley Schaefer is up there in P9, so he right now, if the race would be ending like this, he would be getting some points on him. But of course, qualifying position makes a lot of difference. I mean, well, wow. But then again, 10 minutes only into qualifying. Actually, 9 if you want to be more exact. So still a lot of time to go, as Miyazaki sets an improvement there, for example. P16. And another one by Nick Tanda? Nick Tanda, yeah. P9. And Söderström, actually, I think he's standing P2. Maybe moved up to P3. But an improvement on this lap, taking him closer to Terzic, who is currently our pole sitter.
Yeah, Terzic currently holding provisional pole, but not by that much. And I have to say Nick Tanda in 9th as well. Decent from him so far, as he is currently the only BWT Lechner driver to not score points in these first opening rounds. His teammate Andrei Sazonov even scored a podium at the opening round of the season in Portimao. So Tanda, I think, feeling the heat just a bit from his teammates who are less experienced than him. There's Çağatay Yılmaz up into 9th. Sergei Kazakov goes up into 13th, and now he gets himself into the points. So the Kyrgyz man is looking a bit better in the championship at the moment compared to his rivals. We'll have to eagerly await then if the likes of Schaefer or even Stella down in 24th now are going to be able to respond to those lap times.
Yeah, of course, still half a session of qualifying to go. So, still a lot of improvement to be made. Of course, we need to take into account for the Porsche Super Cup cars, this track is quite a long lap. Formula 1, it's already 130. And you need to take into account Formula 1 cars are very fast, as Dafkian. That's an improvement, up into P6, that's a very solid lap. As I was saying, Of course, if Formula 1 cars take about 130 around this track, then you need to imagine Super Cup cars are going to take around 2 minutes. So if you look at it this way, they have about 3.5 laps left of qualifying, so it's not that much.
Yeah, longer lap, slower cars. It's, I'd say, how would you put it? Less room for error. But enough about that. Håkan Sorenström has just put Jates Terzic down into second as he goes on to provisional pole. We have a new provisional pole sitter with 8 minutes to go. That being the Swede in the Uniserver Team GP Elite, Håkan Sorenström, who sits P19 in the championship. So, yeah, he'll be looking to score a few more points if he's able to grab provisional pole, that's for sure.
Yeah, but quite. Oh, and that's a big improvement by Yunada, up into P3. Very good lap.
Yeah, very good lap from Jagan Yunada there.
Schaefer as well, P6.
Yeah, that's Bentley Schaefer up into P6, and that's the man who's third in the championship. So that is going to be an important improvement for Bentley Schaefer. But obviously, as we've just gone over the halfway mark in this session, and as we do say, there's Yannick Moltke up into 7th. Good stuff from Yannick Moltke, who is looking to score points once again, just like it was in Barcelona. But yeah, now that we're entering the later end of the session, this is usually where we do see a lot of improvements just coming in rapidly. So a lot of drivers are going to have to start worrying about their times coming down the board. So it's all about trying to respond to the times that are coming in and trying to defend your own positions, I guess so to say.
Driver's probably having about 2 laps more qualifying. Take into account, you also need to count in like the tires. They can't really go for three laps, because on the third lap the tires will not be as good as they will be on the first lap. But of course, Sorenström, big improvement. Also Jakobsen, actually. Sorenström, big improvement there, 2.43. Take himself way more ahead of his rivals. Jakobsen, though, does make that advantage a bit shorter, 2.044, but still quite a margin.
Yeah, very good lap from Søren Jakobsen, I have to say. 2.04.465. That puts him just about a tenth off Sorenström for pole position. So yeah, he's got himself properly up there, and I think that should be at least a top 10 guaranteed. As Yunada now goes up into third, sends Terzic down into fourth. So Terzic's original pole time is coming down the order. And now then, it is going to be interesting who else is going to be able to throw their hat into the ring, so to say. Who's going to be able to get themselves into the top 3, or even throw out a pole lap out of absolutely nowhere, because we have seen it before in a lot of different spec series. Guys from basically everywhere on the field, you see, even outside the top 24, could potentially just throw a stormer of a lap and go on to provisional pole out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, no improvements as of yet, of course, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a lot of them coming in, especially towards the end of qualifying. It always turns out like that. So
yeah, it is always how it turns out to the end of qualifying, but a lot of drivers just currently on flyers. You had Cam Cole there in 17th, get an improvement. Jakobsen improves as well. He edges himself a tiny bit closer to Håkan Sorenström up top, but at the moment then the Dane stays behind the Swede in second, as we've just got about under 4 minutes to go then here in qualifying, and we're looking at Yunada. It's just about to come around the final corner. Is he gonna finish up the lap then? No, the Malaysian comes into the pit lane. And he's gonna not continue that lap. Next across the line is gonna be Arban Khagvasuren from Mongolia. He's coming in as well as he rounds the final corner. What about Nikolaus Schlöter, the Liechtensteiner driver in the Fach Autotech? As he's just about to come across the line, can Nikolaus Schlöter improve with this lap from P24 on the grid? No, he stays where he is. What about Giuseppe Stella, who's currently on a flying lap at the moment as he heads to Saint-Baume and Mistral? There's Avedis Davtyan, currently in 10th, as he rounds the first and second corners. Just making his way through the first sectors up into third, Sergei Kazakov, and that is an important lap, but immediately gets sent out of the top 3 by Mikolas Chernik, none other than the exciting young Czech man himself, Mikolas Chernik, in the oh dear, what car is he in? The Nebulous Racing. Chernik going up into third with a 2:04.414. He goes 400ths faster than Kazakov, and yeah, good stuff from Mikolas Chernik. But then the question will be, with 2 minutes to go, if he is going to be able to hold on to that, because I think in these 2 minutes there are a lot of drivers who could set improvements, and those improvements could be very big. Who knows?
Yeah, but under a lap time left, which is 1 minute 50, so, and the lap times here around we have seen 2:04, so drivers maximum have 1 more lap, as Yilmaz up into P6, very solid lap, gets himself up to the top 10. See other drivers coming around the final corner to cross the line. Doesn't see any improvement on the I don't, do you call it leaderboard? I mean, you understand what I mean, of course. So
yeah, but it is going to be interesting now. We're going to have a few guys just come across the line for what will probably be their final runs. Nikolaus Schlöter, the Liechtensteiner driver from P25 on the grid. Is he going to be able to at least lift himself up a few positions? No. Schlöter will unfortunately stay P25. Davtyan goes up into P6. Good lap from Avedis Davtyan. It's going to be a good starting position for the Armenian man. He's actually tied with Çağatay Yılmaz, but he gets it as just going up into provisional pole once again, just like it was in the beginning of the session. Yates Terzic takes it back out of absolutely nowhere. Great lap from the Bosnian, and he might just get provisional pole, or he might just get pole position here. And just as I speak, I spoke too soon. Marco Rosenthal, by almost a 1/10 of a second, gets it from Terzic, the Austrian, just comes out of nowhere and steals it away from the Bosnian. Good stuff from Marco Rosenthal, the man who finished very, very well in Barcelona, now capitalizes off that pace and could be on for a first pole position in Porsche Super Cup. Sazonov up into third as the checkered flag has fallen. Good lap from Andrei Sazonov. He could be on for a second podium potentially. So next across the line, Çağatay Yılmaz can't get himself out of 10th. Giuseppe Stella across the line. It's only P26 for Giuseppe Stella, and the Italian man is not going to be too happy about that. Rubinho Gonzalez up into 11th. Good lap from the Spaniard. Next across the line, championship contender Bentley Schaefer stays in 14th. Then it is Nikolaus Schlöter in P25. He's coming into the pit lane. Difficult session for Schlöter, and he will be starting in 5th. Avedis Davtyan next across the line in P9. Will be able to get himself up a few positions. No, he stays in P9, but that is going to be a top 10 start for him. What about Yates Terzic in second? Is he going to be able to take back that pole from Marco Rosenthal? Improves, but it's not the pole for Yates Terzic. So he will stay second, and it's looking more and more likely for Rosenthal to get the pole, but you never know as we still have 9 cars across the line. Chernik across the line is not able to improve. What about Miyazaki? Japanese driver stays in 22nd. Håkan Sodenström is next across the line, second for Sodenström, and De Kloot, the Dutchman, goes up into 4th. Great lap from Sebastian De Kloot, and he could continue on his point scoring streak here at Paul Ricard. Damian Krastev, the Bulgarian, goes up into 6th. Great lap from Damian Krastev, and then the man in last, Ji-hwan Kyon. South Korean is going to go across the line. P22 it is for Ji-hwan Kyon. He gets himself onto the timing board, but it isn't enough as David Juli, final man across the line, Croatian, lifts himself up into 3rd, but on pole position here at Paul Ricard, Marco Rosenthal takes it for Fach Autotech. That is qualifying done and dusted then, Giuseppe. I'm sorry I didn't let you speak that much, but
no, it's no problem.
Yeah. But now then, it is time to go through the grid before lights out for 16 laps around Paul Ricard. And starting on pole position, it's Marco Rosenthal, the Austrian, with a very, very good effort in the dying stage of qualifying. Accompanying him on the front row is the Swede in the Uniserver Team GP Elite, Håkan Sodenström, lining up in 2nd and grabbing 3rd just in the dying moments of qualifying as well. David Juli could be on for yet another points finish here at Paul Ricard. Yates Terzic starts in 4th with Sebastian De Kloot in 5th. Andrei Sazonov starts in 6th with Damian Krastev in 7th. Mikolas Chernik will take 8th with Søren Jakobsen in 9th. And it's Sergei Kazakov, the man who's in the lead of the championship, starts a very good P10. Then it is Yagan Yonada in 11th with Avedis Davtyan in 12th, and then Çağatay Yılmaz will take 13th, and I'll let you take the rest.
Alright, just behind him we have Rubinho Gonzalez, and following him we have Stefan Schon. Further down the grid we have Sarjev, Petri Schaefer, Moltke, forgive me for the pronunciation, Črnčević, I'm sorry. Then we have Nick Tanda in the 20s, followed by Cole, Hwan Kyon. Then we have Miyazaki, Lucas, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, okay? And then in the last two positions we have Nicolo Schlöter and Giuseppe Stella.
Right then, qualifying grid is set. We're ready to go racing as the lights are coming on. 16 laps here. Paul Ricard, Rosenthal on pole position. And we're underway here at Paul Ricard. Good start for Michael Rosenthal. Not as much for Håkan Sodenström as he gets off across the line. David Juli is going to try and make it a Fach Autotech 1-2 here at Paul Ricard as he's going to go to the inside line of Håkan Sodenström. Michael Rosenthal trying to cover off the pair of them as we head through turns 1 and 2. And Sodenström on the inside line is able to get him as well. And the Kloot darts up into 3rd. Juli really lost out on the outside line there through turn number 2, and he's going to face even more pressure from the Bosnian Yates Terzic. And Juli, who had a fantastic getaway, has had it all come undone in the only by a span of a corner as Terzic is now looming on the inside line. There's a crash at the back, and that is Rubinho Gonzalez. We're going to investigate that later then as the action is just going on here.
Yeah, he thought it was a great start, then he just lost it all in that corner, just like you said. But Rosenthal, after a great start, has already about a second gap, but behind him are the teammates of Sodenström and De Kloot. So has to keep an eye there as we're following the car of Sazonov, who's fairly close behind to Juri and even Terzic a bit. A lot of battles down the field as well. We've seen Moltke gain some position with Kyon as well, as they had through this fast right-hander. Followed by another fast right-hander with a bit of a braking. Sazonov has a bit of a look, but of course there it's pretty hard to make a move. But Jakobsen ignores my statement. He actually doesn't try to go for a move onto Krastev. That is, just can't pull it off though. Great attempt though. You need to try everything on the first lap, as you know. Tries it around the outside even. Can he make it stick? I think they're side by side, and yes, great exit by Jakobsen.
Wow.
Let's see up into P8.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Søren Jakobsen, really going for the moves. I was kind of certain that Krastev would have the position there, but I have to say Jakobsen pulled off that brilliantly around the outside, and now Krastev is facing pressure from the man, the leader of the championship there behind, Sergei Kazakov, but I think Krastev is not so adamant at letting the P8 go, as he's still putting the pressure on Søren Jakobsen. He's going to go to the inside line, even into turn number 1, as through turn 2 he's going to have the outside. He's trying to keep it wheel to wheel with the Dane, as the two are gonna go wheel to wheel. Krastev trying to make it stick there on the outside line as we head down to turn number 3. They are wheel to wheel as the battle goes on into turn number 4 through Hotel, and into turn 5. Damian Krastev, I have to say, pulls off a very nice retake of his position.
Yeah, great battles we're seeing here for which is still pretty good points paint positions. I was thinking Molke and Daftian actually down there fighting, as well as Zariev and Kion. Junchevich and Tamden look to be fighting as well. A lot of battles throughout the field. See all the cars down the straight, flying. It's pretty satisfying image. But we might see some move here into the following corner, as Stefansson looks very close to Daftian. They're side by side essentially. Gonna head through the fast right hander, maybe side by side. I think he's even trying the move. He's got it done, maybe. Yes, he has, just about. But I think Daftian was lining up for a move on the inside, but let that thought go away. So that's Stefansson up into P14 as Stella and Lucas are now fighting, which led them getting a bit involved as well.
David Jan seems to not have the greatest of starts, considering I believe he started in P9. He's gone down to P14 or P15 now. So he could potentially, if Ji-Hwan Kyon is able to. Ji-Hwan Kyon, I have to give it to the South Korean. He's had an incredible start up into P16, and I just wonder if he could get the positions gains on a start here, as Rosenthal has got the fastest lap of the race. We're going to get that now. In fact, and there we go. And yeah, Stella has made up 5 positions. Yannick Moltke has made up 5. Kyon has made up 6. That is incredible from Ji-Hwan Kyon. David Jan's gone down 3. Julia's gone down 2. The Klut's gone up 2 as well. Krastev's gone down 1. Yilmaz and Stefansson up 1. And then Lucas and Schlöter up 3. And I believe why a lot of the guys further back went up a few positions, I think there was a bit of tangling with Rubinho Gonzalez, which might have resulted in a bit of chaos at the back. And I do wonder if we could actually get the replay on Gonzalez and what happened. Not before we see the battle between Miyazaki here, and I believe that is, I'm not sure who that is. That's Cameron Cole, actually. And Cole gets it done on the outside of the Japanese driver. So we're now looking at the top 15. Yilmaz chasing down Yunada for 11th. We'll see if the Turkish man's going to be able to do anything here. Then for P11 heading into Senior. And at the moment, no. Yilmaz stays behind for 12th.
We're gonna have a look, the replay there from the start, as things have calmed down a bit. Lots of overtakes there into the first lap. Have a look here. Into the first turn, looks clean so far. Maybe coming to the chicane, of course that's where it happened, I think.
Oh yeah.
It looks like the 3-wide situation actually, maybe got squeezed. Ooh, yeah, I kind of didn't leave a lot of space there, to be honest. I gotta be honest. I don't think Zariev had a lot to go.
I mean, you can see that obviously he had the overspeed on Gonzalez, and then Gonzalez braked very late, and I guess Zariev, this is just, I think, a classic case of 3 wide.
Zariev had nowhere to go. He was off the circuit already. He was on the curb, so I think that's just a racing incident in my opinion. Maybe a bit of more Rubinho's fault.
Yeah, I guess you could argue for it being Gonzalez's fault, because from Zariev's onboard, he was basically ahead until the braking zone. So I guess I'm not really sure there. I guess we'll just have to leave it down to a racing incident. Either way, it's not the commentator's job to decide. It's the stewards. So we're now looking at Ji-hwan Kyon, South Korean, looking very, very good then on the start, looking to get himself a points finish. Behind, he's got Süleyman Sariev for company, the Turkmenistani driver. As Marco Rosenthal now says the fast lap of the race, and I have to say, what? Rubino Gonzalez at the fast lap of the race? I thought he DNF'd. Did he not? We'll just have to go down the field, and oh well, there he is in fact, Rubino Gonzalez. On our screens, I thought he DNF'd, but he didn't, as we're now looking at the battle for P5. Miyazaki could go down another position here, as Arban Lukagvasuren is gonna fight with his fellow Asian driver. So the two go wheel to wheel. Lukagvasuren is now gonna have the inside line through turn number 5 and the other right-hander of turn number 6. As Lukagvasuren does get it done on Miyazaki, so Miyazaki's not having the greatest of drivers at the moment, as Ji-hwan Kyon down the straight gets the slipstream, and he's gonna go to the inside line. Is the South Korean gonna be able to pull this off? Heading into seeing that he's got the inside line. Davityan on the outside, as he's taking pace of Davityan's poor pace at the moment. Ji-hwan Kyon, as the two go wheel to wheel. Davityan on the outside line through turn number 11. And Ji-hwan Kyon goes up into the points. Bravo! 7 positions gained from the start. I think you have to applaud that so far. In 4 laps as well.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's backing down, because Stefan Son might be Kyon's next target, looks like, if he keeps up this pace. So he needs to watch his mirrors. But of course, Davtyan's still there. Of course, that's 15, so post-break position. It's not going to be as easy to keep that, because drivers are much more keen on keeping that position. Unlike the other positions, Kyon has gained that thus far. But we cut back to the top 5 again. Zhui now, very close to Terzic. Can he line up a move in these next 3 laps? He looks very close, but of course here at Paul Ricard you need to find the perfect spot to then make that count. Of course, a lot of chicanes here at Paul Ricard, so can somehow pull it off if you line the car up very well. For now, he does stay up behind though, maybe studying his opponent there a bit, looking where he could put his car at the best and get that move done up into P4.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting battle then, as we have a bit more battling going there at the back. That's Krastev getting it done on Mikolas Chernik. Chernik going down into 8th, and now we could maybe see Søren Jakobsen try and take advantage of it. And no, it's the opposite in fact. Sergei Kazakov behind him decides to take advantage of Søren Jakobsen, as he is going to go up and alongside the Dane to get up into P9 then, as the two go wheel to wheel then into Sinje. Kazakov's going to try to do it on the outside line, but that's going to be a bit of a tough ask for the Kyrgyz driver, as the two go wheel to wheel. Is Kazakov going to be able to pull this off on the outside as they go side by side through turn number 11 and into turn 12? Jakobsen should be able to defend. Yes, he does. So one last look on the outside line there, but yeah, unfortunately for the time being, for Sergei Kazakov, he has to stay behind. Håkan Sorenström has a fast lap, and that is interesting news, Giuseppe, as we approach lap 6, because obviously Marco Rosenthal has had the upper hand in this race, but yeah, Sorenström, I have to say, with the fastest lap, could maybe try and make a push for the race lead here.
Yep, he does have the pace certainly, but if Terzic does end up winning the Clod, the Klet has quite a gap to Söderström, so you need to pick up the pace certainly, but of course you don't want to destroy your tires following that, because then for the end of the race you're not gonna have as much grip, so you might get the position stolen again. Of course, it's all those little mind games and car games, I don't know. We call it that now, that you have to do. So, but that's why we love it. That's also like tiny things, you know. But look, enough about that. Now he looks very close, just not close enough to line up a move. I mean, he could send a dive bomb, but I don't think that's a good idea, especially into this fast right-hander. But with the sleep shot, he could try closer, and closer, and he does look there, still staying behind.
Well, obviously, turn 8 is a very, very finicky corner because it's so high speed, and if you do get it wrong, it results in an accident. One may remember back to the 2018 French Grand Prix, because that's what comes to mind for me at turn 8 and collisions. I believe it was Alexander Arnold and Mohamed Patel who collided at that corner. I think it was like the last lap of the race, and it was a really, really high speed accident as well. So I think that's a very good example of what could happen when you do get the corner wrong going side by side. But yeah, at the these are obviously slower cars as well, and they're obviously more rigid and durable than open wheelers, so it's, I think, a different story. But yeah, Terzic then, as Jose Lucas now says the fast lap of the race, all the way down from P20. That's a surprise, I have to say. But yeah, we're looking at Jatas Terzic then, who is looking to get up into P3, as Sebastian de Cloot seemed to have very, very good opening pace, but just isn't really able to keep up with the top two, unfortunately, for the Dutchman.
Yeah, and I think in the span of a lap there, he's actually lost like an entire second to his teammate Söderström. Söderström actually not even underneath 1 second of Rosenthal. Still, comparison to the last few races I've commentated, I've seen way bigger gaps, so it's actually a bit of a welcome surprise to not see the leader go off into the distance and never to be seen again. So maybe during the last lap of the race, Söderström might be able to do something about that, but for now, Rosenthal on very good pace. Another man on very good pace seems to be Terzic, just I don't think he's gonna line up just yet, but he's getting closer and closer every lap. We're now looking at Yilmaz, right? He's now going for a move onto Yunada. They're there side by side. Yunada goes a bit wide there actually, so losing ideally on the racing line. Yilmaz now has the inside, and I think he's got it done. Yep, so Schaefer goes for a move as well, though Zaryev is like fighting a bit more back, but he goes wide eventually, and Schaefer has that position. Although, don't count him out just yet, Zaryev is still there, don't mind me. Zaryev gets it back. Yep. And no, and oh my, they're fighting a lot out there. Schaefer and Zaryev side by side for what is the entire sector 3, that is. Now coming around the final corner, who will get the better exit onto the main straight up coming to turn 1 and 2. After still side by side, no one's backing down here. Zaryev seems to have the edge on him, but of course the turn, who's gonna be later on the brakes? We see him coming to the first turn. Zaryev has the inside, which will turn to the outside. Schaefer not giving up, is still there. You can't really tell a winner here, so we're gonna have to look into turn 3. And Chunchevich might even join into this because they're losing a bit of time, so he might join in on this. You got Zaryev now, who might actually have gotten the position done finally, and yeah, he has it, because now Schaefer is busy with Chunchevich. A lot of battling there, but we love to see it.
Yeah, I have to say, that was a super battle between Zaryev and Schaefer. Bentley Schaefer obviously didn't want to go down another position, but I think there wasn't really a lot he could do. I think at the moment, it is obviously looking like it's a very good opportunity for Sergei Kazakov, as he is the only man in the top 3 to be in the points at the moment. But if my calculations are correct, he won't be in the lead of the championship. That is actually going to go to Marco Rosenthal, who will be in the lead of the championship at the moment, because he will sit on 37 points. That is if he takes the lead of the championship, or if he wins here. I still do believe he'll be leading the championship if he takes P2. So I think he obviously would like to finish P1 here, but yeah, he'll still be leading the championship if he does finish P2, and Kazakov doesn't really move up that much. As we now go into lap 9 out of 16, and Håkan Sorenström has had the fast lap of the race. Sorenström once again trying to make an effort to catch up to Marco Rosenthal and possibly even go for the race lead. But so far in these past 9 laps, even though Sorenström has had a few fastest laps here and there, it seems to have been Marco Rosenthal having the upper hand throughout the entirety of the race, really.
Yeah, it's now the field again is quite down a bit of a win for laps, but of course, you've come past the halfway mark. The race seems to have flown by actually in my eyes, but of course, if you have that many battles, it's gonna fly by eventually. That's actually one thing I like to point out. Leclerc has lost even more time onto Sorenström, but guess who's gained time on the race leader? That's Sorenström. So
yeah,
he's now under a second, 5/10 gained.
And I think, obviously, one benefit for Håkan Sorenström is namely the fact that Sebastian de Kloot, Dutch pronunciation, is not able to gain on him. He has basically nothing to worry about behind, considering defense. As we're now looking at Søren Jakobsen, who is chasing down Nicolas Černík and trying to make the move here as he heads through Beausset corner, turn number 11. On the inside line there, Černík forced out wide, and he's able to get him. As we're now looking at Giuseppe Stella, trying to make up another position in this race. He's made up a lot of positions, but unfortunately, still 0 points for Giuseppe in this race.
As we come back to the top 5, that is, seen them very close together, but not really pulling off any moves. As I mentioned before, Česić very close to the Kloot, but not having made a move just yet. But he's gonna have to do it eventually because not many laps left.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time left now. There is only 6 laps in this race, so I think a few of the guys might start to feel the pressure, as there isn't a lot of time left to go. As we're now once again looking to this little pack, the battle for third, I guess you could consider it, between the Kloot, Terzic and Jules. We'll see who's going to come out on top there. Here's Davitian then, and he's actually gotten the position back from Ji-Hwan Kyon. So Ji-Hwan Kyon gets dropped out of the points by Avedis Davitian, who goes back in. And Bentley Schaefer here, I think, is trying to get, I believe it's Suleiman Sadiev. So yeah, Schaefer looking for a bit of revenge as well. Is going to try and get himself up into P17, and he's going to go to the inside line. Heading into turn 10 then. The two wheel to wheel as Schaefer has the inside line. And he gets it done. Clean and simple move from Bentley Schaefer. Punches his way through up into 17th.
I guess we have here fighting again. It's Sadiev, Schaefer and Čunčević. Not the first time we've seen them fighting, but this time it seems Čunčević is a bit more involved, trying to get that position onto Sadiev.
It's going to be interesting now then to see what's going to happen in these final few laps, as Håkan Sorenström has caught up to the back of Marco Rosenthal now, Giuseppe. So I think things maybe will start to get a little bit interesting here.
Yeah, the closest to the top two, 6.7 seconds behind. So it's pretty much only them two. It's a 1v1 situation here. And I doubt they'll lose that much time that the Clut will catch up. So it's really only up to those two. And Tennyson just needs to get that bit more closer. Because he's not close just yet. But with the slipstream on the straight, he might catch up actually. So we'll have to look out here.
Yeah, and we'll see if he is going to be able to get close enough. As Giuseppe Stella now disposes of Jose Lucas. Stella is really on a charge here. 7 positions gained, you have to give it to him, but it is such a shame that he did qualify last. Because it would have been an incredible performance if he actually was in the points. Either way, well, I'm not really discrediting it, but you get what I mean. As Nick Tander gets past Nikolaus Schlöter, Yannick Moltke is chasing down Jagan Jonada. And here's they are 3 wide into Senior. That's Tander, Lucas, and Schlöter, I believe, who all just went side by side into there. There was a bit of wheel banging, but no off there, as Tander still tried to make it work here as he's side by side with Schlöter. Lucas had to back out there just in the end, as Tander's there on the outside line, loses out a bit. Jose Lucas is going to try to go wheel to wheel with the Australian, but it doesn't work. And Nikolaus Schlöter comes out the winner in that 3 wide battle.
Yeah, 5 laps to go by the way, not much time left. Field has stayed just as close as ever. See battles all throughout the race. Now looking at the bit of everywhere, it's equal distances pretty much. We see those 0.5s a lot drawn around there and there. But Yunada's actually caught up a bit to Yilmaz. Yilmaz of course has a bit of a bigger gap to Kazakov. So Yunada might try to move to Yilmaz and then catch up to him in the last few remaining laps.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's quite an interesting battle then for P11 as we go back to the battle for P3. David Joly in 5th has kind of just been sitting there all race at this moment. So yeah, I think Joly will be, if I'm not mistaken, I think he'll be 3rd in the championship. Even though he hasn't scored a single podium, as he did actually try it on the inside line of Terzic there. So he could try and grab himself even more points if he's able to, but it's just all about being patient and trying to find the opportunity. But I think his patience is running out a bit. There is only 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Terzic, we said he was very close to the Clut. Now actually has to watch out in his rear mirrors because of Joly, who might get into 4th position, as now we have Jakobsen and Krastev scrapping out for which is P7. Jakobsen, I think he was in P7 already, so he keeps that position. It's actually a replay there actually. Oh, wait, no, Jakobsen made the move. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That actually very nice move around the outside. Well done. So I'll correct myself. Jakobsen did make a move up into P7. Modes cross that back into P8. Lap 13, only 4 laps. So now or never essentially.
It really is.
The man who is probably gonna have to take that the most seriously is our man in P2, Söderström, because he wants to get that win. He has it. The opportunity is there. Just needs to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. He's just kind of stayed behind there. He's gotten very, very close, but he just needs that bit more. He just needs the final the final piece to add to the puzzle, I guess, to be able to get alongside Marco Rosenthal for at least to try and make a move. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Håkan Sorenström will be able to do it, but he just needs that little bit more to get past Marco Rosenthal. At the moment, it's what he is lacking. So I think, I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see what he's going to be able to do in these last 3 laps.
Indeed. As we look at Stefan Schoen, closer to the back of Molke there, which would promote him to P13 if he does pull off the move. But for now, I don't think he's in the overtaking range just yet. So we look at Stella once again, who's made up a lot of positions, just not enough for him to get into those points-paying positions. And with not many laps left, he'll have to put a rocket ship on his car, as Fernando would say. But I don't know if he still would be essentially in P20 like Fernando was P11. But we'll have to find that out, because now it's lap 14. There's only 3 laps remaining. And as I said, for the past 2 laps, it's not a lot of time. That's very little time. Only thing that saves them is a bit of a longer lap, but still.
Yeah. We'll just have to see what's gonna happen, really. We've got a few close packs in the midfield then. Schaefer is still putting the pressure on Ji-hwan Kyon. Kyon, who seemed like he was having really good pace in the early stage of the race, made up so many positions at the start. Now just kind of, I don't know, he just came to a bit of a standstill really in the later half, and I guess he just wasn't able to convert it into a point finish, which is a shame for the South Korean and Dynamic Motorsport as a whole, I would say, because at the moment I believe Fach Autotech will take the lead of the Constructors' Championship from Dynamic. So yeah, the Italian outfit, this isn't really their day, I'd say. As now Sergei Kazakov is going to go to the inside line of Mikolas Chernik, as the two are going to go wheel to wheel. Kazakov on the inside line as the two go wheel to wheel, heading through turn 11. Is he going to be able to make this move stick and grab another position? Yes, he does. Sergei Kazakov up into 9th.
Yep, great move there. In the dying moments of the race. But Mikolas Chernik is still very much there, so he might get it back.
I think, I mean, obviously, every moment for, or not every moment, but every little position for Sergei Kazakov, it just gets so more important when you're in the lead of a championship and fighting for it as well, because you want to try and extract every single point possible. And well, obviously, I guess that applies for every single driver, but it's more important when you're fighting for a championship, because you don't know where your rivals are, and you don't know how much points they're going to gain, and all that. So you just want to try and do the best possible job you can, and try and finish as high as possible. We just saw Håkan Sorenström there for a bit. 6/10 is the gap between him and Rosenthal. So I think Rosenthal's going to have it covered, as here is Schaefer then. He is going to fight Ji-hwan Kyon, and Kyon's going to go down another position here as through turn number 7 we go, and onto the Mistral straight. Bentley Schaefer gets it done up into 16th, and Kyon will unfortunately go down another position. Here's the man we haven't really seen this race, Miško Srnčević. He is going to fight Suleiman Sarjev for 18th as the two go wheel to wheel. With the overspeed that he could possibly get it done before the corner, but he is going to have a quite substantial overlap heading into the corner. But Sarjev on the inside line is going to have the better traction onto Srnčević and should be able to defend his position. Yes, he does. Sarjev stays in 18th, and the Montenegrin Srcevic will have to stay behind for 19th.
Yep, as Sundström, he's caught up, but it doesn't seem like he's getting the deciding move done. And now it's the final lap. So it's now or never, really. And he doesn't seem to come close. I don't know what's happened there. It's come close, but just not close enough. But I'm up to be proven wrong, as we cut back to another battle here. Nick Tander and Nikolaus Schlöter going down the main straight. Though I don't think Tanda has enough overspeed to maybe get that move done into turn 1. But he actually lines it up cleverly around the on the inside, which will turn into the outside. I don't know if that will benefit him or not. He seems to have taken it quite well, actually. Actually get a bit of speed there, just by a margin. So now we'll come into turn 3, which outside looks like the better route, because then it turns to the inside, and that's Thunder up into P21. And Schlöter now has to watch out for Lucas, might lose another position on the spot.
Yeah, Jose Lucas did have a look on the outside line there, just wasn't really able to convert it into an overtake, so he will stay in P23 then. Andrei Sazonov in P6 now holds the fastest lap, so he is gonna get that extra FL point if no one else will be able to snatch it. As the race finishes, here is Ji-Hwan Kyon. He's gonna try to get Bentley Schaefer, but into turn number 10 he has to stay behind. Jose Lucas, though, not really insistent on staying behind Nikolaus Schlöter, but unfortunately for him, that is what he's gonna have to do at the moment. But this man then, Marco Rosenthal, the only Austrian to ever compete in the ACOC, is finally gonna be a race winner as he rounds the final corner. It's a light to flag race victory from Marco Rosenthal as he wins here at Paul Ricard. Very, very well done about Marco Rosenthal. Håkan Sodenström finishes in second, and Sebastian de Kloot just holds on to finish third. It's a double GP Elite podium here at Paul Ricard, with the Fach Auto Tech of Marco Rosenthal leading the two. So everyone is just coming across the line then, and there it is. And it is Marco Rosenthal then who takes the race win, with Håkan Sodenström and Sebastian de Kloot rounding out the top 3. Jatis Terzic takes a close fourth, with David Jul in P5. Really consistent first 3 races from David Jul. It's what you love to see from the Croatian. Andrei Sazonov takes P6 and gets the fastest lap point on top of that as well. Søren Jakobsen finishes 7th, with Damian Krastev in 8th. Sergei Kazakov takes 9th, though he's not the championship leader anymore following Rosenthal's race victory, as Mikolas Chernik rounds out the top 10. Then it is Çağatay Yılmaz taking 11th, with Jagan Junada in 12th. Yannick Moltke takes 13th, with Ludwig Stefansson 14th, and Avedis Davtyan just rounds out the points paying positions.
And on the drivers who just about missed out, Bentley Schaefer, they're in 16th. Kyon, who actually made up a lot of positions in the race, sadly misses out on the points paying positions by 2 positions. Still great comeback, sadly not enough. Behind him is Sarjev and Srcevic. Stella, who also tried to make a fairly good comeback, but sadly his qualifying position just wasn't good for that. And in P21 we have Nick Tander, and in P22 he is followed by Nikolaus Schlöter. Then we have Jose Lucas, Cole, I'm sorry, I love you. Rubinho Gonzalez then in 26th after his initial contact, and Miyazaki rounds off the final position.
Yeah, and that is it then for Porsche Super Cup here at Paul Ricard. It's been a very, very interesting race. But now then, it is time for driver of the day. And Giuseppe, I'll let you go first, actually.
Ooh, I actually wouldn't really know. Um, I don't really be able to tell. I'd say Rosenthal though had a pretty good race. But honestly, I feel like all the drivers had a good race, but all the drivers who made good comebacks didn't really make enough positions to be even in the points. So honestly, I give it to Rosenthal actually for that fairly good performance. Just he kept off Söderström very good on those final few laps. Did not crack under pressure, so I would say he deserves it.
Honestly, I'll agree with you. Yes, it's basic to give it to the race winner, but I think he was able to hold on for. I think he was able to hold on at the end very, very well. I think he took a very, very strong win as well. Kept his calm throughout the entire race. So I think he did well. So he gets my driver of the day. And yeah, that is it then. Next round of Porsche Super Cup is is at the Silverstone circuit in the United Kingdom, but that's gonna be in about a week. Yeah, the action at Paul Ricard obviously doesn't end. Tomorrow we will have the French Grand Prix for Formula 2, and on Sunday we're gonna have the Formula 1 French Grand Prix, so make sure to not miss that. We should have them on those days. I can't really I don't want to make promises now that it's a summer break, but we should have those on. No Super Formula this weekend. That will be on the next one, most likely. But yeah, make sure to not miss the upcoming races this week. Until then, thanks so much for watching. I have been Miran.
I've been Giuseppe.
And we will see you when the ACC returns for the Formula 2 French Grand Prix at Circuit Paul Ricard. Thank you and goodbye.